This is a stimulus and Social Security update. Got some important update to share with you. A brand new Social Security bill has just been introduced into Congress. I'll give you the details, and it's by someone you would never expect. IRS has just given an announcement about stimulus checks, $1,500 checks deadline in just 18 days, and Republicans are distancing themselves from Senator Rick Scott, saying that it was the Rick Scott plan to cancel Social Security. I'll give you some other updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. So IRS finally provides late guidance on state stimulus checks. So most taxpayers in the 21 states that sent out stimulus checks or tax rebates in 2022 don't need to pay taxes on those payments on this year's federal tax return, the Internal Revenue Service announced Friday evening yesterday. So the guidance clarifies how taxpayers should treat these payments and allow those waiting to file to move forward. It also means, for the most part, those living in the affected states who already filed their taxes don't have to amend their returns. So here is the long list of 21 states. I'm curious, did you receive a stimulus check in 2022? Let me know down in the comments below. It looks like you don't have to pay taxes on that, which is all that the IRS is saying there. And then stimulus update, deadline for homeowners to apply for $1,500 payment is in 18 days. So this is going on in New Jersey for homeowners. There's 18 days to file for state program that will give them up to $1,500. It's the Affordable New Jersey Communities for Homeowners and Renters program. They're accepting applications until the end of the month, February 28th. And you could get up to $1,500 there if you live in New Jersey and own a home, or even if you're renting too, you could still get money on that. And then Republicans say they won't cut Social Security, so why does it keep coming up? That's the question I have. You keep hearing this back and forth that Republicans are going to cut Social Security. Republicans are saying no, they're not. So why do we keep talking about this? Why is this still a cycle? Why is this still a narrative? The only reason why I'm mentioning it to you is because every day in the news cycle, they just keep saying that Republicans want to cut Social Security and Republicans are saying no. Well, it's mainly because of one person, Republican Senator Rick Scott of Florida. He's the one who put out a plan to sunset Social Security and Medicare. And the President Biden, the Democrats, are basically lumping Rick Scott's plan as a Republican plan, and the Republicans are not happy about that. And so you're starting to see the Republicans distancing themselves from Rick Scott right here in this picture. Now, ironically, just when the Republicans are distancing themselves from Rick Scott saying that he wants to cut Social Security, Rick Scott announces new Social Security Medicare bill amid Biden feud. Gotta admit, politically, this is a genius move. He's been branded as the guy who wants to cut Social Security. Now he's introducing a bill to protect Social Security. Gotta say, from a political standpoint, it is pretty genius. So Senator Rick Scott announced a new bill on Friday to increase funding for Social Security and Medicare and institute a higher standard for making cuts to the entitlement programs following President Biden's pointed accusations during his annual address before Congress on Tuesday, saying this: "I have been fighting since day one to protect and preserve programs like Social Security and Medicare for Florida seniors, and today I am proud to announce new legislation, my Protect Our Seniors Act, to safeguard the benefits of these critical entitlements," Scott said in a press release. So now he's basically rebranding himself as the guy who's protecting Social Security and Medicare. So yeah, that's what the legislation aims to rescind the nearly $80 billion in funding for the Internal Revenue Service that was approved in last year's Inflation Reduction Act and redirect it toward Social Security and Medicare. The IRS funding has been a frequent target of Republicans who have denounced it as creating an army of 87,000 IRS agents. So basically what Rick Scott's plan, his legislation, would do is instead of hiring 87,000 IRS agents, that $80 billion would go towards funding Social Security and Medicare. What are your thoughts on that? Is this a good bill? Would you prefer 87,000 IRS agents or that money to be sent to Social Security and Medicare? Let me know your thoughts on that. And the bill would also require that any cuts to Social Security or Medicare would be approved by a 2/3 vote in Congress and would block Medicare savings from being used for other spending initiatives. So basically, it's preventing Social Security and Medicare to be cut because basically 75%, 2/3, 66 of the Senate would have to, or 66 of Congress, all right, so, but in the Senate, 66 people would have to vote for, which means Democrats would have to vote to cut Social Security, which would never happen, which would protect Social Security. So I'm curious if this bill will be endorsed. I'll keep you updated on that, but that is the new Social Security bill. And Mitch McConnell says, bad idea. McConnell slams Scott's plan to sunset Social Security. Now, this may be becoming old news because Rick Scott's new plan is to protect Social Security. That's his legislation. So that's Rick Scott's probably his rebuttal and retaliation to anyone saying that he wants to cut it. He's like, no, I just introduced legislation to protect it. Take a look at this video clip right here talking about how Mitch McConnell is distancing himself and what Rick Scott is doing.
President Biden is continuing to hammer Florida Senator Rick Scott and his proposal to sunset all federal legislation after 5 years, including Medicare and Social Security, unless Congress decided to reauthorize it. Scott defended the proposal he made yesterday, comparing it to a 2017 Republican health care plan that would have cut insurance from 24 million Americans, according to the CBO. He brought up a 2017 interview where my colleague Jake Tapper pressed a Trump official on the cuts.
Hey, Caitlin, let me just read you something Jake Tapper said. This is back when Republicans were proposing reducing the cost of Medicaid. But what about what Jake Tapper said? I mean, what Jake Tapper said, and Jake Tapper said, that is a cut. You know, have you talked to Jake Tapper? Why did he say it was a cut if Republicans do it? Did the same fact checkers go back and look at what Jake Tapper said? Why did Jake Tapper said that $880 billion cut in Medicaid is a cut? What they did last fall is going to reduce life-saving drugs.
I understand you're saying it has an impact.
Life-saving drugs.
I understand you're saying it has an impact on drugs. That is different, though, than saying that they cut Medicare when they're saving money on the cost of what those drugs cost to Americans.
Okay, but then why did Jake Tapper said that $880 billion cut in Medicaid is a cut?
I'm sorry, Senator. I don't think that's the defense that you think it is. Here is what Jake actually said.
According to the Congressional Budget Office, the health care bill that just passed the House would cut $880 billion over 10 years from Medicaid. Now, I know that the Trump administration is excited that Medicaid will go back to the states where they have more control and can experiment and be more efficient. But without question, $880 billion fewer dollars is a cut.
Joining us now to discuss is CNN's Jake Tapper. Jake, what did you make of that, watching that interview, hearing your name be invoked so many times by Senator Scott?
Well, first of all, rough morning for anybody that was playing the Jake Tapper drinking game for 8 times in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. First, it was incomprehensible to me, honest. There's so many issues here. One is Senator Rick Scott proposed sunsetting all federal programs every 5 years, and if they're worthwhile, then Congress can renew them. That's his proposal. I mean, just in the last day, the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell was saying that's the Rick Scott plan, it's not the Republican plan. And House Speaker McCarthy has been saying the same thing, that's not our plan. But Rick Scott did propose it, and he was the head of the National Republican Senatorial Committee when he proposed it. So, I mean, that's just a fact. For whatever reason, Senator Scott didn't want to stand by that plan. And there is a way to discuss it. You can say Medicare and Social Security, there are real issues with their solvency, and this is a way to have that conversation, et cetera. And by all means, they should have that conversation. But the whatever that was, that word salad, where he kept on mentioning me, was just very strange to me, because he was trying to compare Medicare now being able to negotiate drug prices with drug companies, which is not a cut from Medicare. It's a cut in pharmaceutical company profits, no question, but it's not a cut in Medicare, with me asking a question about the Congressional Budget Office analysis of a Medicaid bill from 2017. I mean,
But Jake,
it's really just kind of nonsensical.
Jake, you know what that is. See, he didn't say Jake Tapper says when he did his interview on Fox. He didn't say Jake Tapper says when he did his interviews other places. It was someone gave him that talking point, probably saying, well, you know, they said it on CNN. If Jake Tapper says it, then whatever. And so I think he was using that as a talking point and kind of a gotcha to CNN during Caitlin's interview, and she's right. It's not the defense that you think it is. So I think that's what it was, but I think it obviously fell flat.
Yeah, no, look, when he went on Fox, not this week, but recently, to try to defend this Rescue America plan, he accused Fox of reading Democratic talking points.
John Roberts.
I think it was John Roberts.
Yeah, it was John Roberts in the summer.
Yeah, and all John... and all John was doing was literally reading the Rick Scott plan. So, look, I'm not here to, and the same as all of you, I'm not here to take a position on his plan. This is his plan. I'm not pro Rick Scott plan. I'm not anti Rick Scott plan. I'm just, here is what he is proposing. And obviously he doesn't want to defend it. He wants to change the subject, which is an odd thing to do, but that's also his prerogative.
We do need more Jake Tapper in the morning on this program. I'm not sure that's the way we wanted to get it, but we're glad it got you here. Can we just, I want your take on what Mitch McConnell has said in the last 24 hours. Here it is.
Well, this doesn't have anything to do with that. I mean, it's just a bad idea. I think it will be a challenge for him to deal with this in his own reelection in Florida, a state with more elderly people than any other state in America.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that Rick Scott has good intentions behind his new plan to protect Social Security? This could change the whole narrative, of everything. It's really interesting how Rick Scott did that. I would never expected that. To be clear, I'm an independent, but I find politics very interesting. I vote both Democrat and Republican, like to see things from a neutral point of view. But yeah, this move, very interesting, very interesting. Anyways, that's all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing you should do when you're feeling down and you want to follow your wishes. Then do whatever you want. It's a free country here. You can do whatever you want. So bye guys. Have a good night or a good day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. We're gonna have a good family day as it's supposed to rain all day after my wife and Bella come back from kickboxing. We're just gonna hang out and relax together. It's been a long, busy week. Hopefully you have a great weekend. If you want to check out any of my other videos, click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.